Hi, Marty. We are on. First and foremost, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell us your name, your company name, and where you're located.
Sure, my name is Marty Lee Parker. My company's name is Romantic Adventure Getaways, and I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
How did you get into this business?
This particular business is a branch of all the other businesses, which is Active Entertainment. And I started Active Entertainment in 2011, 2012 in the mud run industry.
How did you get into mud run?
I got into mud runs. I was a trader right out of college, a day trader back in the day. It was a lot of super fun. And then they started building algos that would replace the speed of our fingers. So I had to look for other venture capital opportunities, other things to start going. And someone said, hey, Marty, they had 20,000 people in Ohio at a Warrior Dash paying $70 a head. And I go, what? And the next morning I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad, we got like 100 some acres down in Southern Ohio. Can we have a party, drink some beer and run around the back, invite some people over? He's like, yeah, let's do it. That was my first major event production that we did. And that went on for about 9-10 years until COVID hit from about 8-9 years. And then we went into COVID with it as well. And it became one of the most popular mud runs in Ohio called Mud Ninja. From there, I understood what I was doing. It's like, wow, I'm producing an event. Immediately the next year, we're like, hey, let's do something called a color run. It was a big popular thing where they throw up color. Because I knew how to produce events at that point. And then from there, after color runs, we're like, oh my gosh, let's do more. Let's do a bubble run where you run through bubbles as a 5K, run through the color. We did that. Let's do a tomato fight. So you didn't have to buy a plane ticket to Spain. So that went on to creating events. And it was about in 2013. So from 2011, 2013, I did a number of these runs and I thought, man, they're so difficult to reproduce, but I got good at reproducing event. I had my systems in place. So I was able to see something in the market, like a tomato fight. Well, that's a mud run. Let's just launch the tickets, launch the sales, launch the marketing. And then I got an email from my wife's best friend, one of her best friends, that says, hey, Marty, I'm not going to do a mud fight. I don't want tomatoes in my hair. I don't want color all over me. The bubbles do not excite me. However, there's this thing in California, San Francisco. This is 2012. If you trap people in this room and hide the key and they got to figure it out. It was the first escape room in the United States. It is by Scrap. Get the name. It's like Trapped in a Room. Something of that nature, right? I go, what? That sounds kind of fun. And that was on a Monday night. She sent me the link. At that time, I was able to look back, had their sales online. You could see their sales. I don't know how I was able to do this. I was able to see about for a year and a half, they were sold out. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why would someone do this? I immediately, the next day, it was on Monday, bought tickets. And we found a late night where they were having trouble selling out, late night at 11 o'clock. And I bought 4 tickets quickly and we flew out there that night. First escape room. Now this escape room is beyond Gen 1. There's Gen 1, right? This is like 0 with Tupperware and blankets that you would buy at a yard sale. Blowout escape rooms. Fast, just like my mentor, Red Frog, that blew out Warrior Dash. I was just copying everything they did. And now I knew it, but it's really hard to produce mud runs, right? But this escape room thing, escape room didn't exist. It was like a room that you would escape. The terminology wasn't even there. It hit me like, all right, what I like to do, I like to find lines, people that are standing in line for something, for business models. And I like to emulate that exact same thing they're standing in line from because I know people want it. Hey, who wants to be a manager? I'll pay you $600 and you get to schedule yourself as an actor. And that was the key thing. We didn't know they were called escape rooms. I named it Room Escape Adventures. I wish I would have named it escape room because that's what the term in the industry became. I called it Room Escape Adventures. I like Trapped Room and Zombie. I went up there that one weekend, hired a bunch of people, said, hey, you want to be the manager of the zombie? Just follow the script. You're good to go. I did not return for 1 year, not go back for 1 entire year because I looked at the sales. And the sales were, as you know, we didn't even call it, again, it wasn't an escape, it was a team builder, it was corporate team building because I knew from all my other events, they bring out huge creeps. So we build that as a corporate team for a long time. Then all I got paid to do for the next 12 months was sign leases. And that's all I did. I signed leases by hiring people off of Craigslist to go out and take a video of the spot, right? And then I would just schedule and send everyone out and take the sales that I would make to open it up. And it cost about 15 grand altogether to open up one escape room in a city that has never heard of an escape room before. At the end of 12 months, we had 14 locations. At the end of 24 months, we had 22 locations. One in London, we did do Spain. We did Spain. I flew to Spain, opened one up in London and multiple cities everywhere. But from then, escape rooms. And then it went on to, hey, what is another mud run? Well, escape room. What's another one? Well, axe throwing. And it was the exact same thing. We had the systems in place to blow it out. And we did that from 2017. We were the 3rd axe throwing location. We just blew it out to 12. I think we had 12 locations altogether inside of months. Seen it before. If they've never seen anything before, can you give them the bare minimum and they'd be extremely happy? Yes, you could. Is that the case now with axe throwing and escape rooms? No, it is not. Right. And I believe one of our questions is, we can get to that. But that's just a brief history of how my role, what escape rooms were and how it worked, and where I come from in that industry with escape rooms.
Oh, thanks. That was a really cool story how you got started and flew all the way out to experience the madness, get back. Einstein light bulb idea. Let's talk a little bit about creative challenges that you faced or are facing these days in designing these experiences. I know you have another escape room type concept where you don't just lock people in, you invite them to stay overnight. Tell us
Right.
about that. Tell us about your creative challenges.
The creative challenge, great. And that's romantic adventure getaways. We never, ever, you will not see the word escape room on our website. We don't bill ourselves as an escape room. Often will we use that term. We're an overnight luxury stay where people go to experience a themed concept. And it's a Scooby-Doo mansion combined with slides, trapdoors, and secret passages that lead to luxury resort experiences if they're able to solve the riddles and clues that lead to, and they can find these locations. If you're familiar with escape room, you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds like escape room. It's nice. It's a luxury resort. And it's the Airbnb model. And that came out of COVID. COVID hit, all the axe throwing owners, escape room owners went to Airbnbs because you couldn't travel the country. It was a big bubble. If you had a theme, you could stick that around. So we're finishing up our last suite with that. We've total 6 suites for that. And here's my creative process. My process is complete opposite of what you see promoted in the escape room industry because of who I am. And I can't focus. I cannot focus. And what you see, and you've seen it in the last, oh my gosh, probably 6 or 7 years, it came out as, hey, let's do a complete theme of an escape room and tell a story. So you'd be doing storytelling throughout your escape room. That's great. I love it. I personally have a very difficult time if I am doing an escape room and you want me to read I got to read that. I just want to find something, get a shot of dopamine, find the next thing, something opens up, we're high-fiving and I'm looking at the clock. And that's just my personal thing because too much thought for me and I'm thinking about tomorrow's groceries. So my personal theory, escape room in years, 4 or 5 handfuls of escape rooms and then let the team write the rest and things. But I would use that same situation where it's, hey, what's the big hook, aha, at the end? Shove it through. I think Angela Lansbury did this technique as well when she would write. She'd put herself in a room with just tons of things around her and say, without directly saying what that is, write me a riddle or a clue about that, describes it. And the reason, again, is overloading the dopamine that a person gets when they solve something. After all, that's the magic of escape rooms and certain corporate team builders and scavenger hunts. So if you can do it by adding a few other elements, you could have an amazing escape room. Marty, what are the other elements? There's time, right? You got to have a reason to get it done. You have to have a pressure, either a pressure behind it or a pleasure at the end to stick the carrot. If you combine all those together, the thing is like, what are you winning? And we've got like 4 or 5 that go into our secret sauce. And it's like, hey, if we put all this in, it's going to work. They're going to want more. They're going to leave an amazing review. And that's another thing I'd like to touch on. If you're building an escape room or you're building a business, how much amazing can you give your guests that if you mess up on 3 or 4 of them, because anyone listening to this as the escape room knows that we're not going to all the time reset all the riddles and clues and something's going to break constantly. We have things that break constantly, right? But we give them many things to have an amazing story at the end of it. They forget, unless it's really bad, they forget. It's like, oh, that was great. And they leave an amazing review and they come back. So as a tip for those that are out there building escape rooms and coming out with new ones, think about how much stuff can you give them? And a lot of time to get the most dopamine. If you're wrong on certain things, they got so much dopamine, they're floating pretty high right now. And they don't really care. And yes, they're coming back.
Yeah, I think customer experience is the biggest thing in this industry. They not only high during the actual experience, whether they're in an escape room or a rage room, but also how they come out of it as a winner, whether they end up solving the puzzle or not solving the puzzle. Let's talk about a few emerging trends in the industry. What have you seen or what are you seeing recently happen? And how do you keep afloat with that?
The industry is escape rooms, or if the industry is active entertainment, I'm constantly, and I have a number of producer friends that are sending me things, and I keep building active entertainment concept based on what they send me. Marty, look at this, look at that, look at this thing right here. That can be of all spectrums. So first, we're going to talk about escape rooms. And the answer is, I don't know. I don't do escape rooms. I'm not a huge fan of escape rooms just because I've done so many escape rooms. They're painful. If I go to an escape room, my family does not want to do escape room on vacation. Why? Because we've done so many, it is just torturous. But if I wanted to do one and there's a certain segment of the population that will do an escape room, and it's a lot, it's a big, right? Money escape rooms, and then the repeat clients, I would want to do one that's going to blow my mind, be super amazing, has great reviews. And what I've seen in the industry and what excited me, I think it was in 2019, 2020, before COVID, maybe 2018, we were analyzing Boda boards in Boston, and we've been around surprisingly 15, 20 years over in maybe Norway or Sweden. And they finally came over here. They had a model that we looked at doing pretty heavily, and we were building in the process, building something very similar to that in Chicago. So many permits. And again, Boda board is it's not necessarily an escape room. It's like you just fail again. You do these challenges in the room. We saw another one recently. I love those. I think that's very trendy. But from escape rooms in general, starting an escape room and never have, just one thing they want to think about is like, well, how many are already in your city and industry where you want to open up? Because it's a laundromat business at this point. It is not launch an ad and everyone's going to flood to it because they've never seen it before. So in a laundromat business, how do you distinguish yourself? What's your unique selling point? And you'd think that with an escape room as well. But that's what I see on the trends right now. And the way to find those, by the way, if you're looking for constant, this is a conventions and things, just subscribe to all of, number one, subscribe to Groupon. Okay, you even don't use it, just look at events. And that's because that used to be the thing. So I don't know if it is anymore. I stopped subscribing, but that used to be my number one thing. Subscribe to Groupon. I got to get back on that. But it's Facebook groups. Subscribe to all the Facebook groups with the escape room that you can, and then start liking things. Oh, here's popular shit I'm seeing, and I'm doing this well. I don't know the logistics, but it keeps working behind it. You are seeing my popular trends, the trends that I'm seeing out there now.
Yeah, great. I also spoke with a game designer a couple of weeks ago. He was on a podcast and he was telling his experience of building out rooms, what he sees. And one point that he mentioned really stuck with me was that, don't get too techy, too technological with the types of props and things that you have in your escape room. If the tech breaks, which it will at some point, then you have to call 5 vendors to come and fix it unless you know how to fix it. Keep it simple, keep it real. Don't get too crazy, because if you're doing marketing online, people don't even know that these things exist till they come inside that experience, that room, or that bubble run or mud run, whatever it may be, because they are experiencing it at the point of entry. They're not experiencing it on your website, on your social media page. So you go all crazy with this, it might actually bite you later because
So
you
I'm
just
going to
put in
give
too much.
you one of my biggest, and I've learned this after years and years of building these escape rooms, because you hit it right on the head. If you go on Amazon and buy your $100 prop about 2 things touching each other, you put the water in, you blow on it, you clap, right? Eventually they're going to break. And when they do, you got to have the backup and swap it out, all these things. And here's what I realized. I'm like, man, we got to get a workaround because I'm tired. I mean, especially if you have a whole bunch of people and they're going to end up breaking, right? So we got this workaround. I'll share it with you because I don't build any more escape rooms. I'm kind of done with that industry entirely. Let me get this luxury resort thing, and then we move on to these other things. But check this out. So what I order, this is so fun. I order these little buttons off of Amazon. You can buy them at Walmart too. It is the extension cord on one end, the button in the middle, plug it into the wall, and you hit a magnet to it. You just mag lock, plug it right into the mag lock. You hit that button, the door opens with a spring, right? Now I think of how many creative ways can people take a stick. It's my number one thing. Before that, we used to use actors that just had a button. They hit the button and it would open it up. So anyway.
No, pretty cool. I'm thinking about what are some of the ways you can save on props instead of hiring people to do every little, because I mean, you can have an escape room or even the experiences that you're giving, you own the property, rent it. You can have the same experience built for 5K or 40K. The value it gives to the customer, to the audience might be the exact same. If you know how to do this, you do your research, go look for, like, you be out in the Facebook groups, talk to some people, try to collaborate. It'll be a lot easier for you than to spend that money that you've invested into that business might take years for you to recoup back. I would definitely chime in with that. Anyway, so I only have a couple of more questions and we can wrap this up. 2 pieces of advice to other owners in this industry.
2 pieces of advice.
Your best 2, top 2.
If you're an owner in the industry, let's say you want to make more money, right? Make more money. That's going to come down to getting in front of the eyeballs that want to buy your product. So now, what is your job? Is your job to run an escape room, or is your job marketing, right? For the eyeballs. Every 2 years, it seems like every 2 years, there's a new spot where eyeballs are going. Hey, it used to be Groupons. That was the big way to do events back in 2011, 2012, quickly and make a ton of money. It was amazing. Then you got iPhones coming out, and then, there's this platform. It's Facebook, right? Now you got all these different social medias. What you need to do is find someone who have information about where eyeballs are looking, or go figure it out yourself. I don't want to figure it out myself. I don't know anything about marketing. You want to find someone that has data that know where their eyeballs are. That's number one, right? And then you want to create what's your cost per acquisition, and you want to set that business up and go, or work in that business if you so choose. I mean, there's many ways to be happy. I prefer not to work in the business. I prefer to set it up and manage the systems, right? And hire great people and do all those things. It's still a lot of work. That's number one. Number two, if you want to make more money, right? So that's number one.
Number one was just finding a right marketing partner, whether it's a marketer or a marketing agency or someone that knows what the industry is doing or has the data.
That's what I am constantly streaking for after having, I think we produced 42, we're probably up to 50 some different events, mud runs, color runs, bubble fights, I realized, wait a minute, it's all the same. A mud run is an escape room, is a blind ninja dinner challenge, is a virtual reality challenge, is the overnight stay challenge. It's all the same. You're selling an hour and a half time of someone's life for the $30 to $40 price now. And how do you get in front of the eyeballs that are producing, right? So look at Marty. And the second thing is this, since it's all the same and you wanted to make more money and you got really good at your system, so you're able to remove yourself outside of the business, because then you're just making 1 call a week, 2 calls a week to the right people and compensating them correctly. And hey, how's your weekend going? Great. And you're in love with your employees, let's say, right? And going, you got to figure it out. Remember this, it's all the same. It is literally all the same. And if you use the technique to sign up to all the Facebook, comes up on your feed, sign up for it, like it, then you're going to get shown a lot more active entertainment concepts, from the Van Gogh Museum to the drones. And then you go to IAPA and you go to all these conventions that we go to. And I promise you this, you're like, wait a minute, why can't I do that? I can do it on a smaller scale. Why don't we do this? And if you're first to market in your area, there's big money, right? Big first market. And then you already have your list. And that's my second thing to owners. It's called portfolio management. Escape rooms is not just the niche. An escape room is a mud run, and it's a color run, and it's a bubble run. That's how we started. And the whole thing was started based on that's what it is. The market, everything. So if you think about portfolio management, you could have opened axe throwing the second it came out and killed it. You could have killed it if you had an escape room in 2017 or something. It was like, okay, axes. Holy cow, it's identical. You're selling an hour and a half entertainment for the exact same price, using the same marketing, same employees, right? The portfolio management we do with the bubble truck. And now we're coming out with a bubble truck. We've got a wagon, museum, and what we're trying to do with the bubble truck is say, franchisees, listen, my number one job is to create new active entertainment concepts that I can deliver to you on a platter to open them up inside of our franchises, right? Because they know the same skills. Work less, get more done, and make more money. And that's what I'm adjusting to people who already own escape rooms. They have the knowledge. It's already there, right? Remove yourself from the business, manage your business, inspect what you expect, double down on what you know how to do, because you know how to do it, right?
We have a few escape room clients that not just do escape rooms, but they have an axe throwing lanes in their location. They have rage rooms now that they're mixing with escape rooms. They have splatter rooms where, it's a painting concept. People just go all out on, splashing paint all over. Big time blowing up right now. I see a lot of those. And maybe 3 years ago, we didn't see that many rage rooms or smash rooms, because people are constantly looking for a way to let out their frustration, their whatever.
Comment on that rage rooms. For anyone listening that's opening up a rage room, and if you've been doing a rage room for a while, you're going to learn some of the difficult parts of that. And if you're seeing it now and you're going through, hey, within the last 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, hey, rage rooms are coming out and they're kind of this thing. The owners go through that. They've got a lot of hurdles to overcome. If you overcome these hurdles of your employee cost is pretty big, because you've got to source all these materials, right, that they're breaking. And then repeat customers. Once you do a rage room, you don't come back. And we saw a big 2017 to 2019, we saw, rage rooms were all the rage, right? And they would open up and they would fizzle, because of two things you got to overcome. You've got to pay someone to keep bringing in junk, right? And that cost goes up. Number two, how do you get repeat customers after they do that? I think they'll always be around and have a little niche. Just if you're thinking about opening a business, think about those two problems that everyone that has a rage room right now is starting to realize, like, unless they figure it out, which I hope they have, really cool, rage room. And then ask yourself this question: what is the opposite of a rage room? If you figure that out, right? Is it a love room? Maybe a love room. Right? Is it appreciation room? Right? If you figure that out, then I think there's another market.
Yeah, I was talking to another owner of a rage room the other day. Actually, his story is pretty cool. He started in junk removal. So he had the junk removal business, and we might be actually working together in a couple of days. But he uses the junk in the junk removal business to use in his rage room business. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's super complementary to each other. I was like, wow, why didn't anybody figure this out?
Yeah, is to keep sourcing it, and then you have to get rid of it, and all that takes someone bending over, picking it up, and moving it out that you have to pay for. Owner of one rage room, and it's like every time we looked at doing that, hey, there's no competitors, it'll work. I'm like, yeah, but why'd everyone else shut down? A rage room does not have longevity because I think those two problems, and I could be completely wrong. I could just my research. I almost pulled the trigger so many times. It's like, man, I can't because throughput looks great, numbers look great. But anyway, that's just my experience, and I don't have that much of it. So with the radios.
No, that's cool. Well, Marty, I really appreciate you coming in for this podcast, for the show. It's been swell, super awesome having you. I look forward to connecting really, really soon.
Awesome. Fantastic. Nazir, thank you again. That was fun.
Thank you.